Alright guys, this is inaccurate. So as you can tell from the title, I watched God of High School, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. Namely because it is a Korean webtoon, so I don't know if I told you guys this yet, but I'm pretty supportive of other countries making anime. There's some Chinese animes like King's Avatar or Kingdom that I've watched, and both of them were pretty good. I don't really watch the other stuff because it doesn't really make me want to keep watching more, you know? Some of them just seem like below average or average, stuff like that. And then there's also another Korean webtoon, Tower of God. I love Tower of God. It reminded me a lot of Hunter x Hunter, and, I love that as well. So I would like to keep supporting, good Korean webtoons, stuff that's translated, the manhwas, or however you say it, and all that stuff. So, that being said, I am going to start with the good points that I liked about God of High School. So God of High School pretty much started out as kind of like this martial artist type of anime, Even though there was a lot of over-the-top stuff, like him riding the bike or the girl like smashing her face into the sign. It didn't really go too over the top. And that's one of the big selling points about this anime. Is like the whole combat. It has a very fluid animation, everything was just very smooth. It didn't seem like it degraded when they were, when they were like trading blows and stuff. Like all the choreography was really cool. The opening and the ending songs were really good. Some reason anime has had this thing where, very intense very intense action oriented anime. It used to have like a lot of rock songs, but now it has like dubstep songs to replace like the intensity and stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny. But both the opening and the ending for God of High School was really good. The animation quality was really high. So that means they had a very large budget for this anime. They didn't skimp out on a lot of stuff. They put a lot of small details into things as well. They also had some pretty expensive voice actors. Like one of the guys, I'm pretty sure was Gintama's voice actor. I recognize his voice anywhere. And then there was also Rei Kukumiya in there as like the little sister, and the chick in the yellow tracksuit with a big tendies. So they got that going for them as well. And now I kind of want to get to like the parts that I thought were bad and what kind of made me think otherwise as I kept progressing through the anime. So I'm pretty sure if any of you guys have actually seen a review for God of High School, you'll probably know what I'm going to say, because it's not going to be anything different or anything unique. It's pretty much the same, The plot, it's like the first 3 episodes, those were really good. Like the fight between Duhwei, I can't pronounce Korean name. This guy and the guy with the metal bat and the tracksuit with the book, that fight was just like #1 for me in the anime. But as the anime kept progressing and progressing, it felt like I was watching Dragon Ball Z, except they cut up a lot of the parts, and then it was put on YouTube, and now I'm watching the YouTube video on like 4x. The pacing was just incredibly off, and you could tell they definitely just like took a bunch of chapters and just crammed it as much as possible into 13 episodes. And it is very visible, I think probably like after the episode 3. It is incredibly visible after episode 6, that's for sure. Since the pacing kept going faster and like faster, it didn't really give you any type of connection with like anything, to be honest. Like I don't even really remember a lot of the characters' names in that anime. Like everything was just so fast. It just kind of felt like it was a blur. And besides the pacing, there is the issue about the whole superpower thing. It did bother me, but when I kind of thought back on it, you remember on episode 1 where what's his face, the guy with a scar on his head, pretty much slapped the shit out of an island, and there was just this big handprint on it. So that was like the first instance of like a superpower, right? I can't really fault it for saying like, superpowers weren't there from the beginning. No, it was there from the beginning, and it was already kind of over the top with that as well. So I guess that was more like foreshadowing, except nobody paid attention to that, and everybody was just like in awe with like the action choreography and like the fluid animation. That was what kind of grabbed people's attention. They just forgot about everything else. But then, as you progress through the anime, it becomes very, very clear that this is actually more of a superpower anime and not a martial artist anime. He first starts out as, was it Taekwondo or something, and then he kind of progresses into like these chakra energy, and then he starts shooting stuff out, and then he gets his own stand like fucking JoJo, and then he becomes God, and then he defeats another god. It's like superpower, but in the span of like 13 episodes, which is incredibly terrible. And so there's another martial artist anime like Baki, not the Netflix Baki, the older version of Baki. This one was more focused on the fighting, actually. Like none of them actually got superpowers near the end. So they did kind of get like kind of OP because like they were like absorbing other martial artist styles at like an incredible rate, or like they didn't tell you, but it still kind of stuck with like the fighting. And that's where I kind of think that God of High School should have stuck with, just the martial artist fighting. Don't stray away from the martial artist fighting, because that's what people liked. It's just the main character with his Taekwondo getting stronger and stronger. That's completely fine on my book. And all the other characters, like the girl with the sword and the guy that knows karate, that's completely fine. Yeah, I would say that was a big kind of like turn off for me. Another point that I just have so very much mixed feelings about, like the first 3 episodes, it was really good. The animation quality was high. You could tell there was so much devotion and hard work that went into it. Not that the other rest of the episodes of the anime wasn't. Like, you could tell like they really tried on like the first 3 episodes, and that's what kind of like grabbed a lot of people in. But as you kind of progress, it reminded me of a lot of another anime I watched. It was like John d'Arc anime. I could probably bring it up right here. So this anime, it just kind of started off as this like medieval France war between, France and England. But then it just got completely blown out of proportion near the end. And, they started fighting space aliens. If they just paced the anime so much better, then I think people would actually kind of came around to the superpower thing like a lot easier. Because, the superpower thing was just kind of thrown at you, like a lot of these people have superpowers, but you don't know what the extent of their superpower is. Like that green-haired guy, he can use a scythe, he can control cards, he can shoot things out of the cards. He has a stand that's a clown that has a scythe. He has, some other shit that I don't remember because, it was a blur. And it's not often that I see this kind of like reverse situation happening. And what I mean by reverse situation is that usually at the core of an anime, it's really good, but the surrounding is just complete ass. Like the budget is low, the voice acting is kind of like novice-ish, and the animation quality is a bit low, and but at the core of the anime, it's actually really good. Somehow this is in complete reverse. The core of the anime is really jank and really all over the place, but the surrounding is just crazy good, See, that's where I kind of get mixed up. It's good, but it's really bad. And, I kind of went into my anime list to kind of like check the rating. People gave it I think it was like a 7.02, something like that. When I saw that, and when I read the reviews as well, I was thinking to myself, this deserves a bit of a lower score. I would say around 6.5. As I saw that score on my anime list, it just kind of reminded me that, like, when I kept watching God of High School, I kept getting progressively angrier and progressively more bored because I don't know what the hell was happening. Things were just happening. Nothing was explained. It just didn't feel good. Yeah, it is not. It did not feel good to watch. Just watching this, something start off so good and then end up like train wreck. End up as a train wreck. Although I do have to give credit, they didn't pull back with their over-the-top stuff, so shout out to that. But yeah, I am still in favor of more like Korean adapted webtoons turned into anime. I'm completely down for that. There are going to be like bad ones, there are going to be good ones. I completely understand that. It's just holy shit, dude. What the fuck happened? You know, just pace out the anime. You don't have to cram everything into fucking 13 episodes. Doesn't make any sense and it pisses people off. All right, I'm out. Bye.